Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, who is probably the most corrupt and conservative Democrat in the Senate, recently had another temper tantrum when he was asked about his 2018 electoral prospects. Now, this isn't the first time that Joe Manchin had a public meltdown, because earlier this year, he was on a town hall with constituents via phone call, and they basically were putting pressure on him to support more progressive policies. And he said, you know what, I'm not changing. If you don't like what I'm doing, if you don't like the policies I'm supporting, then vote me out. Now, once again, he echoed those same sentiments, but this time, albeit with more frustration. You could just tell that he's kind of at his wit's end, and he knows that his career may be over soon, and he's done. He doesn't give a shit anymore. Literally, that's what he said. So CBS News explains West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, who is up for re-election in a state President Trump won by a large margin, says he doesn't give a shit about losing his Senate seat. I don't give a shit, you understand? I don't give a shit, he told Charleston Gazette-Mail on Sunday. Don't care if I get elected. Don't care if I get defeated. How about that? If they think because I'm up for election that I can be wrangled into voting for shit that I don't like and can't explain, they're all crazy. I'm not scared of an election. Let's put it that way. The senator went on, elections do not bother me or scare me. I'm going to continue to do the same thing I've always done. Extremely independent. Manchin's colorful comments came as a response to a letter written by West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey asking Manchin to resign from Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's leadership team. I'm writing to urge you to put West Virginia's interests and values first and resign immediately from Senator Chuck Schumer's leadership team, Morrisey's letter to Manchin reads. Morrisey, a Republican, is running to replace Manchin in 2018. Okay, so wow. First of all, I don't believe that he doesn't give a shit, because if he really didn't care about getting elected again, then he wouldn't have encouraged his colleagues in the Senate to sign a pledge to not campaign against a sitting colleague. Now, he encouraged people to sign this shortly after Paula Jean Swearengin, his Democratic primary opponent, announced her campaign. So, since she's more progressive, he's worried about Bernie Sanders potentially endorsing her, because if Bernie Sanders endorsed her, someone who literally won all 55 counties of West Virginia, then that could really seriously harm his chances in 2018. So, he does care about his electoral chances, and he does want to be reelected. But here's the thing, if he actually doesn't care, then Joe Manchin can easily prove it. You can concede to Paula Jean Swearengin. I mean, if you really are serious, you could just drop out of the race and allow Paula Jean Swearengin to become the presumptive nominee for your Senate seat in West Virginia, because she's more progressive, so she's obviously going to galvanize the more progressive base in West Virginia, and she could more easily defeat the Republican, because you're just a Republican-light candidate. You concede to Republicans, you vote with Republicans more than other Democrats, so why would they be excited to come out and support you if they're just going to get someone who will screw them over a little bit less than the Republican? But I mean, regardless if Joe Manchin cares or doesn't care, we're going to try to kick him out of office anyway. And you can help with that effort by supporting the campaign of Paula Jean Swearengin, because she is a real progressive. She supports Medicare for all, and she's been an activist in West Virginia for a very long time. She's spoken with people in West Virginia. She knows what's going on. She's from West Virginia, whereas Joe Manchin is so detached. He's so entrenched in that Washington, D.C. bubble that he doesn't know what people in West Virginia, let alone average Americans, want. So it's time for change. It's time that we elect Paula Jean Swearengin. And look, if for whatever reason we're not successful in primarying him, then who cares if he loses to the Republican, because he votes for the Republicans anyway. I mean, with friends like Joe Manchin, who needs enemies? So it really doesn't matter if he loses to the Republican. It's a seat that honestly, if Joe Manchin is, the Democratic Party nominee, it doesn't really matter if Democrats keep it or not. So we have to get Paula Jean Swearengin into that seat, and she has to be elected, because that's the only way you can get someone who truly cares about people in West Virginia.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.